And so that's for the dinner.
Lucian.
We are going to... the conference was supposed to be given by Father Oliveira from Argentina, who had so many years of experience of missionary in China, but poor Father is under the weather today. So he asked if he could give us a rain check. I give him permission. And so Msgr Link offered to talk, which is scary because I don't know. I don't know when he starts. I know when he starts. I don't know when he stops.
I don't think I offered. I think I was designated. Come here. I need to talk to you.
And he will. So he will entertain us. And we are going
and you
to...
can, anytime you can go like this, that's enough. Hopefully, yes. I'm hungry.
And we
La cena è pronta.
And we are going to have a French auction. The French auctions are something that you start to know about. There is a price, and the last one who put $5 bills on the basket own the prize. The prize that is offered tonight is a book that I offer to bind for you. And I am working on one of those, but it's in progress. And so on the side table, you can see some of the material that I already bound. So that's what you can expect. So you can bring any books that you have, not too bad shape, please, but a book that you like. And I would be happy to rebound it for you or with you, so to show you how it works. And that's a little thing you can do together. And finally, we are going to have a skit with Kevin to conclude the evening. So we cannot stop that. I hope you will enjoy the dinner and the company. God bless you all.
Say grace.
Let's say grace again, yeah? We said before. Msgr Link has one of many qualities. He doesn't need a microphone.
Oh, is that right? Okay. If you can't hear me in the back, you can. I can stand right here. Stand right there.
And so, Monseigneur.
I was requested to give a little talk, and he mentioned that a little bit about that because in November I went to Japan, and also because of the institute, they have a Japanese priest, Canon Ueda, who was stationed first in Chicago and then St. Louis, where my father is from. When he heard, well, actually it was Canon Moreau, who you all know, who also invited me to come and help and learn the traditional Mass, because it was Archbishop Vigneron. Many of you know I'm bi-ritual, and so when Canon Moreau got here, he said, "Oh, I have no help. There are no priests in the diocese that can do the traditional Latin Mass." And Archbishop Vigneron said, "Oh, go see Msgr Link. If he can do the Byzantine liturgy, which is in Arabic, Greek, and English, he can certainly learn the Latin Mass." So when he showed up after, and I said, the secretary said, "Oh, there's a French priest here who's come to see you." And I said, "Well, who are you?" And he said, "I've come to train you for the traditional Mass." And I said, "What?" And he said, "Oh no, Bishop Vigneron says you need to learn this." So that's how my introduction came to the Institute 4 years ago. But again, when I have this great friendship with Canon Moreau, who trained me for 40 days and 40 nights almost to do the Latin Mass. Do it again, 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 do it again. Finally said, "You now can do a weekday Mass." And it was red vestments, and the cincture came loose, and I didn't stop. I was a nervous wreck saying the Mass. And it was dragging in the court after. He said it looked like Satan's tail. All the altar servers know this. So anyway, Even last night, I had green and it came loose and I was dragging it around and stepping on it and had to stop. So anyway, I hate cincture. Anyway, so when I told Ken and Moreau last year that I was going to Japan, which was a lifelong, absolutely lifelong dream of mine. Since I was 8 years old, I have loved Japanese tradition and everything. And if you saw my bedroom, there's children's kimonos on the wall and all kinds of... And the first role I got to do as an opera singer was in the opera Madame Butterfly. Started in Annapolis Opera, and they were making me up, and I was so excited because Annapolis Opera, near the Naval Academy, there was a Japanese woman who was married to an American admiral. So she taught us all the Japanese on how to bow and the fan, the whole kind of thing. And so, anyway, I kind of saved my money, not a whole lot, because credit cards are still being paid. But anyway, Canon Ueda, associate, Japanese, made contacts for me to Japan, and they met me at the airport, and I did the Latin Mass traditional, first time in Tokyo in 50 years. And it was at the Salesian High School, and we used the chapel, and then I also did a day retreat. And as a bi-ritual priest, both Roman Catholic and Greek Catholic, Melkite, I did a retreat that day on the differences between the Latin Church and the Orthodox Eastern Catholic Church. And I had translators because I learned just minimal Japanese. I bought some, CDs and hi, how are you? And the weather's nice, the kind of stuff. So anyway, but before I went, I did, I'm sorry?
Arigato.
Arigato. Harushu. I know some other things, but I can't. Io tenki desu ne. The weather's beautiful. Io tenki desu ne. The weather's beautiful. Yeah. There you go. So anyway, I did a little bit of study about Japan and the church in Japan. And I thought tonight I would talk about the role of catechists, because this weekend the church in the United States is honoring the role of, it's called Catechetical Sunday, and we are celebrating the role of catechists, people who teach the faith. And many of you may not know that Catholicism took root very quickly in Japan in the 1500s because of the work of the Jesuits, the Franciscans, and the Dominicans. And not only the higher class became Catholic, but even the lower class. But then there was a great persecution, as you know. All you have to do is watch the 1970s Shogun series, and people were crucified. They were boiled alive, they were beheaded, there was great torture, and the church was expelled from Japan. But then later, in the 1800s, people were invited back, and they were Catholics after almost 400 years because of catechists. There were no priests, there were no deacons, there were no nuns, and the faithful kept the faith. And the only thing they knew was the Rosary, Mary. They only knew the Rosary, they knew the Apostles' Creed, they knew the Lord's Prayer and the Hail Mary. And they would go and they would baptize, because the church had said, so long as, someone is willing, even a lay person can baptize, so long as they use water in the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, baptize. So for 400 years, the faith was kept alive because of catechists. And so again, this weekend, the church in the United States honors the roles of the catechists, of teachers. Now, some are formal teachers. You can get a degree as a catechist and a higher degree, and through especially the RCIA, people coming into the church by first an invitation of someone. No one comes into the church unless someone has invited them, and there's been some kind of experience having run many RCIA programs throughout the parishes I've been in, it was always an invitation. But if you think tonight about the people who continue to have taught us the faith, and I think first and foremost, and last night when I did the Mass, last night at 7:30, and I used for Our Lady of Fatima, the parish does, on the 13th of every month from May to October, we celebrate the Mass of Our Lady, and then the Rosary at the end of Mass in different languages. Different people come and we say a Hail Mary in different languages. It's very moving. And I chose the title of Mary as Mother and Teacher. Because when you think about Mary, how she teaches us how to be obedient to God and God's will. From the very beginning, when the angel Gabriel came and said, "Will you be the mother of Jesus?" she taught us how to, God's will, yes, throughout. And also this week, when we think about, this week is Mary's week. Sunday was September 8th, which is the Nativity of Mary. And you think about all the feasts of Mary come from the East, from the Eastern Church. And so how did they choose September 8th for Mary's birthday? Several reasons. Number one, if you probably didn't know it, but the Vatican had astronomers in the Vatican up until the 1700s. Did you know that? There was a court, and all the early councils were determined by the stars, because the church believed that God was revealing his plan by the stars. He created the stars. There were certain kind of patterns. Oh, this. Look at the sign of Virgo. Where's the middle of Virgo? I'm a Virgo, and Panamane is Virgo. Poor Abe, he's a Libra. Sorry. But if you look at the sign of Virgo, the dead center is September 8th. That's number one reason. Number two, in the Eastern Church, we begin the new year on September 1st. And it's celebrated as an octave. September 1st to the 7th. So the very first day of ordinary time is September 8th. And the church says, let's honor Mary. The very first person that in the Eastern Church and the Orthodox Church to be honored is Theotokos, Mary, September 8th, which also happened to be the middle of Virgo. So anyway, so this understanding that, again, the importance of Mary as our teacher, teaching us all times of our lives, again, how to be faithful to God. That's first. But also think in our own lives, our own mothers. Who were the ones that oftentimes taught us our prayers? It was our mothers. Who were the ones who tucked us into bed and made sure we said our prayers? It was our mothers. Nothing against our dads. They were busy with other things. If we go on a road trip, who was the one that insisted when we checked into the motel, the first call is, where's the Catholic Church? Our mothers. Our mothers have been the teachers of our faith. And so, I'm not going to go on too much longer. But anyway, the thing is about the importance of teachers in our faith. Not only people who have taught us and continue at times to teach us, especially in the difficult times. Maybe there's been a diagnosis of cancer or something, and we've gotten a phone call or a letter from someone. And they say, you know what, trust God, or this is needed, or this will happen. And they teach us how to be faithful, or how to be obedient, or how to be forgiving. But ultimately, we are all called to be teachers. By our baptism, we are all given a commission to make Jesus known and loved by what we say and what we do. And when we think about Christians throughout the centuries, and again, even this day, in the Middle East, and Egypt, and Syria, in Iraq, who at times have no access to their churches, the family comes together and they pray the rosary. And they know that God is going to bring peace. Because Jesus himself said, pray, 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 pray for the peace in Jerusalem. And lastly, our God is a God of surprises. When you look at the Old Testament, Moses, who would have thought this little group would defeat Pharaoh, and the Red Sea would open, and a new land. And you think about how, like St. Elizabeth, an old woman, John the Baptist, Mary, the incarnate Word. Our God is a God of surprises. And we never know again and again how He is going to work His will for us. And all we have to do is continue to support one another, to teach each other, to be faithful. Just wait. You hang on. You can do that. And how often have people done that for us and the hard times and say, you know what? You pick up the phone and you call and you find out, or you write a little letter, and you never know where sometime you said something and that person responded or came back to the church, an invitation to come back to Mass or the sacraments, or even come into the church. You never know how someone has been affected by our words, and we then are teachers of the faith. We are the catechists. So again, we remember our persecuted brothers and sisters, especially in the Middle East, and also throughout the history of Japan, who kept the faith for 400 years. Can you imagine that? Someone continuing, knowing that they could be persecuted or put to death, and they prayed the rosary. The importance, again, of the rosary and the families coming together. So again, I said to Ken and Monet, he says, oh, there's few people. I said, but there's more people here tonight than there was in the upper room with Jesus. Right? And we never know where our words and our actions, again, can make an effect in someone's life. For us priests, it's in the confessional, but for you, it's in your homes, in your workplaces. And you continue to do the work of Jesus by, again, inviting people and reminding them how much they are loved and how much God wants them to come and be part of the church again. God bless us all.
Arigato.